All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who were well. And Shalom to you sincere, hopeful, elect brothers and sisters listening and learning. And to you brothers preaching and teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth. This is Brother Nathan, come out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming to you with this clip from audio from Mike Tyson. He said, a spiritual thing, and like in all aspects, as I've been taught by, the apostles and the elders on down, that hey, everything is spiritual. So even you even take things from what people say in the world and what we filter it through the scriptures and apply it to the truth. All right. So this life we're living, man, is full of examples that we can utilize and put a lesson to it, and Lord willing to be edifying. So I'm gonna play this video. We'll get a few precepts and like I said, Lord willing, be edifying.
No, you have to hit rock bottom. That's the way
Wake
up.
up.
Yeah, rock bottom is beautiful. The struggle of coming back is beautiful. That struggle, it's hard. It doesn't appear like it's beautiful while you're going through it, but you're being tested, and without a test, there's no testimony.
Yeah, it was up the test and the testimony. And like when you're catching your hell and you're going through things, is the Lord just chastising you? It's grievous at first, right? But what is the peaceable fruits that come after? I'm gonna get that too. Let's get this. So Yahweh Shemel Shai, man, as we're on this walk, we're being tried, we're being refined, we're being made better, we're being pushed towards that perfection mark. Even though we know we can't be perfect in the current flesh we dwell in, which these bodies are known as what? Chains of darkness in the scriptures. Okay, because like Apostle Paul says, in my flesh dwells no good thing, roughly paraphrasing the Romans 7th chapter, right? Because this flesh will make you go off and do things that you didn't want to do, but you do them. Ultimately, what? We all have a role to play in in the Most High's movie, all right? All right, we all got a script we're following through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. We're just praying and hoping for mercy that our script, our role in this movie, leads to the path of salvation and not destruction and not condemnation. Okay, so we're fighting hard, because like Proverbs 20 and 24 says, "What man's goings are of the Lord, how then can a man understand his own way?" All right, so there's no free will. So the Yahweh Shemel Shai has got us moving a certain way, and we just pray that he's got us on the path to righteousness to gain that salvation. All right, because we know we need it. We need the Lord's mercy, man. We can't do this by ourselves. All right, there's no other way but Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, and that's only to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and speckled birds that look like the other nations, right, but go back to the nation of Israel through the seed of the Father, which we don't deal with genealogies as far as that go. We don't have the records, but we move through what? The Spirit, okay? Because you have Israelites that are fleshly Israelites, right? You can tell, okay, yeah, that's an Israelite, okay? But like in the Romans 9th chapter talks about they're not all Israel that are of Israel, okay? Because you're truly not an Israelite unless you repent and turn back to Yahweh Shemel Shai and follow and rehearse the righteous acts, okay? Like Judges 5 and 11 talks about, okay? So let's get what's one I was looking for? I'll get this and I'm gonna get the Hebrew. This is Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 11. It says, "My son, despise not the chastising of Yahweh Shemel Shai, neither be wary of his correction. For whom Yahweh Shema Shai loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. See? And that's the main deal. Like, Yahweh Shema Shai takes us through these trials and tribulations to make us better, all right, to make us stronger, because we've all had different walks of this life, man. You know, some brothers grew up in the hood, some brothers grew up middle class, some brothers grew up with money, you know, come from all walks of life, or some brothers have lived many different lives, have experienced a full, you know, different things. Like, you might have been travel, you may have been able to see different countries, and you might have been in different aspects of life. You've been mixed in with rich people, you've been mixed in with the poor of our people, you've been mixed in with the middle class of our people. You've been all different walks of life, and had experiences, and then but guess what? But that was one way of living. But now, Yahweh Shema Shai, pulled you out of the world. All right, and you can take those experiences with you, because the scriptures talk about a man well traveled, right? So like, all those experiences matter, but now you apply them with the truth now. All right, now you see how Shema Shai had you moving, and why you did this and why you did that. Rather be good or rather be evil, because we didn't have the truth and how to walk at one point. But the Lord, now that we're serving Him, okay, and sometimes you feel like you catch more hell. But see, we got the scriptures showing us that the Lord, like I say, He chastens the ones He loves. All right, He don't allow us to get away with too much, okay? And especially, like we all talk about, like, you'll have periods of times where, like, you ain't catching as much hell and things are going your way. But we all know, like, something, like, what's next? What's that next upgrade? Because that's how you got to see it. See, Yahweh Shema Shai, He'll take us through things like car issues. You might lose your job. Might lose a woman that you love. If you got older children, they might disown you because of what you believe in. Family members disown you because of what you believe in. But really, that all works to your benefit, because the Lord is removing people. Yahweh Shema Shai will remove people that are unprofitable to your walk. Okay? He'll remove things that are unprofitable to your walk. So He might remove that job that you had a decent job. He might remove that vehicle. But guess what? See, Yahweh Shema Shai put you through things. He might take you through financial woes. Okay? My personal experience, I won't get too detailed. It's like, hey, I got hit with some crazy garnishment one year. Some stuff that, cause we a lot of us have made, dumb financial decisions because we're like, man, this shit is over. Man, Yahweh Shema Shai is coming back, which He is. All right, but we have to be wise. So I ran up some debt and didn't decide not to pay it, and like, hey, Esau wants his money. So, but guess what? The Lord made a way to escape. So I went a whole year owing a whole bunch of money, right? But the Lord set it up where my company was forcing me all kinds of crazy overtime because someone I had a coworker get sick, so it forced me having to work extra, and they never replaced him because they're on leave, so his job was protected, so they couldn't get a replacement. So I had to pick up all these extra shifts to, run the business, but in turn, it allowed me to pay off all that debt, all that garnishment in the year's time, where it would have been drawn out maybe 2 or 3 years, working regular shifts. So, and mind you, and then with that, right, I paid all that off, and I knew Yahweh Shema Shai was doing it the whole time. Like, okay, he's giving me a way to escape, and I'm getting chastised at the same time because I'm working a lot of extra and it's beating me down, but it's also taking care of the issue. And then after I paid that, and not too much longer afterwards, I had got a big promotion, you know, making damn near double, you know, I wouldn't say double, but like, you know, it was a nice big raise and a promotion and easier schedule, you know, and it was profitable to my walk to where it freed me up to be, you know, more set up with the brothers, you know, and then allowed me to take care of, handle things for my children and everything. So Yahweh Shemel Shai is working on our part. You know, the Lord is, you know, 144 steps in front of us, all right? He got the plan to work the plan, all right? That's why it talks about us just trusting Yahweh Shemel Shai. We got to trust the process. You know, Jake in the world be like, trust the process. Well, we got to trust Yahweh Shemel Shai's process. We can't get too caught up in the hell that we're catching. All right, we got to know that the Lord is moving for our benefit, all right? He's not out to destroy us. We can't believe that. See, that's people of the world. See, they're not willing to suffer. They're not willing to be patient, which goes into suffering. All right. That's why, like in the world, they'll say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Like if these people of the world, you know, especially when it comes to 2/3 of our people, if they knew the reward, like if they really understood and the Lord put it on them to understand the reward that is at hand, the salvation, you know, the being made perfect, everything that comes with it, you know, and serving the Lord, the protection that's gonna come in these evil days that we're in, everybody would do it, right? But it is hard. Matthew 7:13 talks about what? Entering in at the straight gate. You know, STRAIT is what? Straight means what? A position of difficulty. So, but, you know, we're putting in this work, we're getting beat up, but we're not getting destroyed. All right, we're being go through these different trials and tribulations, these life lessons, just to be built up. You know, then you come out, you're like, you know what? It wasn't so bad. Now I'm stronger. Now I'm numb to these type of situations, whatever the case may be. All right, so we can't despise the chastising of the Lord, man, because He's working on our benefit. Okay, all right. Because this says, let's get this real quick. This is Hebrews 12, in verse 7. It says, "If ye endure chastising, the Most High deal with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastiseth not?" And we all know some you know some dudes in the world that never had their father in their life. You know, they had no discipline. The mother didn't tell them nothing, and you see where they're at now. They're in jail, you know, or worthless, not doing nothing. You know, especially not serving the Lord. And, you know, always in trouble. You've seen these guys growing up in school and all that, getting everything they want, but not doing anything correct. And you see them afterwards all jacked up. Well, that's how Yahweh Shemel Shai, He's chastising us to correct us, to keep us going. Like I said, not to destroy us. Verse 8, it says, "But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us." Right, you got your father in your flesh that corrected us, right? Well, a lot of us didn't have our fathers, or did not have our fathers full time. Like I didn't have my father full time. I got to see him every other weekend, so you can only get so much out of that, you know. But hey, that's part of our walk, right? It says, "And we gave them reverence." That's why when you come into this faith, you're a new creature. You're starting from ground zero. You're coming as a newborn babe. You're being born again, because a lot of us may not have had that, our fathers, or even a father figure in the correct capacity, right? Ultimately, we all truly didn't if we didn't have our father in the truth of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So we're being all made new when you enter into this, okay? Being new creatures. Okay, that's so you got to come with that blank slate and be remade, you know. Because you're not a man, you're not a true man until you know the knowledge of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Hashem El Shai. And not only being a hearer of the word, but you got to be a doer as well. Okay, you don't want to deceive yourself, like it says in James, the first chapter. Because most people in the world, they hear the words of the Lord, but they don't do them. Okay, they're all about lip service. And we gave them reverence. So if you did have your father in the world and he corrected you, maybe, got you with the belt, whatever the case, correct the, manner of correction he gave you, you gave reverence unto it. It says, shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? See? So how about let's be in subjection under Yahweh Bashem El Shai, the one that's in control of the spirits that are in us, right? For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit that we might but he for our profit that we might be partakers of his holiness. See, our parents had a certain way, our fathers, had a way of chastising according to their will, but the Heavenly Father chastises us, so he said, so we take part of his holiness. All right, his holiness is that wisdom, knowledge, understanding, because the holy goes into being separate. That what makes us separate from the rest of these nations, the rest away from these people of the world. Okay, this is verse 11. This is my main point. Now, no chastising for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. All right, see, yeah, when you're going through and catching this hell no, it don't feel good. Oh yeah, I just blew 2 tires driving down the street. I'm not about to jump. We ain't about to get out the car and jump for joy. But why do y'all outside? But we can still thank the Lord because we understand, like, when we go through these different things and stuff that hits us hard, that's when we know we got to understand that the Lord is trying to get our attention. So we got to pay attention. Like, okay, let me examine myself and make sure I'm moving right, Or you might be something might happen to you, something you did in your past life, the Lord getting you, But ultimately, like I said, all these things we go through, the Lord ain't doing it to our destruction, okay? It's for our betterment, whatever the case may be. And we got to believe that. That's how we're going to continue to walk in this faith and not get weak. All right, that's how we put off the weak nature, by accepting the things that have come upon us and taking it cheerfully, right? It says, nevertheless, afterward, right, it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. See? But after we get through whatever trial the Lord puts upon us, man, we're made better. Then we're to that point like, oh, that wasn't even that bad. I got through that, man. I knew Yahweh Shem Shai was going to get through there. Oh, bear with me. I gotta answer this radio real quick. Go ahead.
Call me in the shipping office.
Copy that. Bear with me here. I'm gonna make this call real quick. Be right back. Hey, Ms. Jackie, how you doing? They're just scanning. Yeah, and you know what? That was told to them one day. So that's there's a reason why they're doing that. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see here. Let me guess who's the culprit. Mostly Mel and okay. What he get mad about? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Just I'm gonna play it smooth right now, but I'm gonna take it up top because they were told that before. There's a reason behind this, and I'm gonna tell them this is gonna cause confusion and stuff. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play it smooth, just stay relaxed. But I'm gonna get with Andy and everybody because this conversation has come up before, and that's why they're doing that. That's why you see them doing that. Yeah, because there's times where, like on them times where you guys are like slammed in the shipping office, all types of issues, they've been kind of trained to like, you know what, just hey, grab and just keep pushing, because you know, especially when we got to that problem when they're talking to the corporate, talking about bringing in extra people and new managers and all this crazy stuff. So I'm gonna address that, but right now just let them be. We'll try to relax on it, especially since it's only yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's looking for any excuse to just be sitting there. Mike, who gives a damn? Just go to the, you know what I'm saying? Like, relax, dude. Okay, and then try to. I know it's annoying being down there doing that. I'm gonna address it, and we're gonna try to work something else better to make probably put in the meetings to either stop doing it or do we want to continue this way. And if they do that, they need to at least make it aware to you, like, hey, by the way, Miss Jackie, I'm grabbing. Yeah, just because hey, you're lining up the work though. You're killing it. I want to say thank you very much. That way, Jennifer ain't asking me 3,000 questions. You can just relax. Yes, we're supposed to get pizza today too. Yep. What's it for? Oh, okay. Yep. So that's what it is. Yep. Yep. Hey, we'll take it, right? You know what I'm saying? All right. Thanks, Miss Jack. Appreciate you. Bye. Okay, I'm back. Slacky about that. See, that was part of that part of that promotion. I gotta, I'm the boss, so I gotta, do that. But hey, Thawadi Abashim Al Shai, so I'm able to take the opportunity to be able to do a lesson and handle business. So always thankful for that. So yeah, through this chastising, we're being made perfect. We're earning our stripes, to say, right? This is like the proving grounds, while the rest of the world is living their lives, doing whatever the hell they want, living in wickedness, following after ways of Esau, Edom, so-called white men and their oppressors, right? We are removing ourselves and training through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, not only physically, because, the push for, taking care of your body, eating right. We got to take care of these vessels. Eat right, exercise, because the exercise profits little. It might be little, but it does profit it. Because this vessel, we got to use this to do the work. Now, if you're all sick and tired and because you're overweight and you ain't been eating right, eating junk, and you're not taking good care of yourself, it's harder to do the work. Because then if you find yourself in major health problems, and it could lead to a bunch of different things that deter you from doing the work effectively for Yahweh Shemal Shah. So, we got to take hold of that. And then, like I said, we're also being exercised mentally, spirit and spiritually to handle, not only the things that we're currently dealing with, but with the things to come. Preparing our mind for the days of trouble that are at hand. Okay, that we're currently in, but Yahweh Shemal Shah is protecting his men of the Lord. All right. And the angel of camp is around us, man, protecting us. Because we fear Yahweh Shemal Shai. And you're going to see in these days that we're coming into, we're the true prophets of the Lord, which is at the house of great millstone, start with our apostles and elders on down. Okay? And you're going to see all these other camps start to really break up and lose their quote-unquote followings because they don't have the 100% truth. And they're just there for gimmicks and doing debates. They're just entertainer lights. Okay? We're actually pushing forth the word. All right? Giving to you straight, no chaser. And we don't give a damn if you don't believe or not. We're only here for the elect's sake. Okay? All right, let's get... bear with me here. This is James chapter 1. And we'll start at verse 1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High, Yahweh, and of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. See, that's another thing right there. This is to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right? Just like in ancient times, when in the ancient world, all right, guess what? The Israelites have been scattered amongst all nations. All right, well, guess what? We're still scattered. That was part of the curses. And we're not going to be totally brought all the way together until what? Yahweh Shah comes back, okay, and redeems his people. Verse 2, it says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. See, we got to count it all joy. Because we know when we're going through these things, we're able to what? Exercise our faith. Showing that we believe in Yahweh Shema Shai. Showing what, and showing, like in the military, they'd be like, hey, remember your training. You train for this, and then when you get into these certain sticky situations, right, you got to remember your training. Or you got to remember that Isaiah 33:6 says what? So wisdom and knowledge shall be what? The stability of thy times. What times? The end times. Okay. See, we're in these end times, so we're getting hit with even more things going on. You got all these spirits out here that want to mess with you, that want to knock you off your path. All right. But hey, we got to stay grounded in Yahweh Shema Shai. It talks about what? Being rooted in the Lord. Okay. And how do you stay rooted? By what? Sticking to his word, meditating on it day and night. All right. That's how you keep yourself from going off. It says, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Exactly. So we going through these things to what? Be made perfect. All right? We're getting all these experiences, and we're pulling them all together as we battles, and we don't win all the battles, but but guess what? But we're set up to what? Win the war. Okay? See, these battles, you win some, you lose some, but you fight. You fight, right? Like I said in the Friday, okay? Ice Cube, the Pops, in that movie. Live to fight another day. All right? That's why it says a righteous man falls 7 times and get back up. All right? You dust yourself off and try again. Now you don't willfully sin, right? You ain't out here just being like, oh yeah, the Lord got me. Then you go do some bullshit. No, that ain't righteous. All right, that's what our forefathers used to do. Premeditated sin. Be having the sacrifices already set up so they can go do their wickedness and be like, all right, now I'm gonna sacrifice to the Lord. Because that's what Jacob do, man. Jacob is a planner. That applies to all the tribes. Okay? Jake think they slick. Yep. So let's get this. This is 1 Peter chapter 1. We'll start at verse 6. It says, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, whom having not seen ye love, and whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. Right. So that's the main thing. All right. One, we're not doing this for no reason. We're doing this to get salvation for Yahweh Shema Shai. We're doing this to be found a good and faithful servant, man. Standing 10 toes down for the names of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. All right. So, but we're going through this, like I said, the heaviness, all right, of these temptations, the trials, man. All right. But like I said, we're gonna be made pure. We're gonna be that pure gold for Yahweh Shem Shai at the end all be all. Okay? Because you gotta remember, man, these people of the world, man, they're not putting any effort for the Lord, man. The only effort they give is that lip service, and we know the Lord, what the Lord says about giving lip service. He ain't dealing with it. All right, he's looking for action. Okay? So we got to stay encouraged, man. Now, we got the victory already. The victory's already written. We just got to play our part. All right? And we're in some exciting times, man. Esau, even the so-called white man in his kingdom, are what? Falling to pieces, man. They're divided. You know, like the scriptures say, a house divided cannot stand. And we're seeing the fall of Rome reincarnated, right? America, Babylon the Great. All right, it's falling before us. All right, this is get a few more. I'm gonna close this out. Let's get this. This is Romans chapter 5 and verse 1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with Yahweh Shem Shai, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace, wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of Yahweh Shem Shai is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us. See, look at that. All right, this is all for the benefit of us, like I've been saying. All right, so the tribulation is necessary. All right, it's necessary for our experience. It's necessary for us to exercise our faith. It's necessary for us to prove ourselves to Yahweh Shem Shai that we are that faithful servant. All right, because it's easy to praise Yahweh Shem Shai when everything's good. Hey, remember, a friend is known in adversity. When you going through hell with your friend, that's how you know if you really got a friend or not. Or are they just here for the party when it's good? But when you ain't got nothing, are they gonna stick around? That's how the Lord works. He proves you, like, let me see, who are my friends? Who are my true servants? All right, hey, we always go back to one of the greatest examples, what? Job. All right, you know, and all the men of the Lord. All right, Yahweh Shai. You know, like what Apostle Paul said, you know, to abound and you know how to be abased. All right, that's the balance. And we go through them ups and downs constantly in the truth. You know, and then sometimes, those be tests, and those are all tests, especially when you got it. Let's say you got a lot of money going, you know, things are going your way. Now, how are you going to utilize it? Now you might have a nice abundance of money, but now you got brethren that are in need, right, in your camps or throughout the four corners of the earth. You know, now how you gonna respond? Are you gonna be stingy with it and not utilize the money you got to help out? I'm not saying you blow everything you got. You know, you use everything to where you can't pay your damn bills. You know, and make sure you take care of your things. You know, your necessities as well. You know, you got to be wise now. All right. But you gotta, you know, the Lord will give you money as a test to guess what? How you gonna use it? Cause it's nothing for Yahweh Shem Shai to make a man rich or poor. He's in control of them both. He's the one that makes them either or. So see, we always have opportunities to exercise our faith in Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. This is we'll end it off on this. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. See? Prepare yourself. Get your mind right. Get ready to endure. Verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Right. When things get hard, you don't just freak out and bail out. You know, that's what punk ass people do. That's what bitches do. When it gets too hot, they get up out of there. Nah, no. Hey, you pray to Yahweh Shem outside, you fast. All right, repent and repeat. Keep that process going. All right, because you gotta, like I said, you gotta know all opportunities to exercise your faith are at hand with us. All these things we go through, whether it be good or bad. All right, the Lord is looking for something. We all got a test that we're going through. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. Right. Here it is in the end time, and brothers is getting increased. We're being increased, man. All right, Yahweh Shema Shai is, because you got to remember, as the evil and wickedness is being pushed to the all-time high, right? To where the point where the evil works are being fulfilled, right? It's reached to the top, to where the Lord is about to come back. Remember, hey, righteousness trumps wickedness. All right, so when wickedness is on the rise, so is righteousness. And the men of Yahweh, the true men of Yahweh Shem Shai, the elect, they're being made super strong in the times we're in. All right, to match, to compass the wickedness that is going abroad the earth. All right, so we're being increased. All right, increased spiritually, increased mentally, increased physically, increased financially. Like the Yahweh Shema Shai is on our part, man. He said, my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink. My servant shall rejoice for heart, you know. And we know what the opposite of those verses is what? They're gonna be hunger and thirst. They're gonna be, crying, you know. But we're gonna be happy in the days that we're entering into, because Yahweh Shema Shai is with us, man. And we believe that he's gonna take care of us like he's been taking care of us our whole lives, even before the truth. Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. See, whatever's brought upon thee, take cheerfully. That's the good and the bad. All right, we know it's all workings of Yahweh Shem Shai. And look, now this is a big one right here. And be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Like I said, we go through them ups and downs. All right, but when we're in the downs, like Mike Tyson said, hey, that's the good part, because it's only up from there when you hit rock bottom. And then you get to see the beauty. You know? The Lord don't just keep us in a perpetual dark dungeon. All right? You find yourself in that situation, man, you got to do a whole lot of praying and fasting. You have to do some correction. All right? There's things you need to do. All right? If you find yourself, man, I'm just catching hell, man. I'm just, even that down and out, weak natured spirit. No, you got to snap out that shit. Like Scripture say, put off the weak nature. You can't even, it's like it says, the law that you can't even go to war if you're scared. Because what? That's a cancer. That's like a disease to the rest of the men that are out here fighting. That same thing applies to the truth, because, we're not in a physical war, but we're in a what? We're in a spiritual war. We're under spiritual warfare. And you can't have brothers that are being weak, or staying weak. Let me put it that way. Because we all have our little downfalls, but that's why we got the brotherhood to, prop us back up, get us back going, to get them engines, firing at all cylinders. All right, we got our own maintenance team. Okay, we got our own people to make, brothers to help keep us going, man. Keep them fires and the coals rolling through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. It's part of the body. Okay. Verse 5, it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Yeah. That's where you're made that's where you're made the best. Like I said, when you down and out, that's where all the prospering comes out. Like I said, when you're going through good things, you're like, okay, cool, But all the growth comes when you're catching the hell. Verse 6, believe in him. See, you gotta believe in Yahweh Shemel Shai, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward should not fail. See, you gotta believe that. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord, and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear, and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction. See? So when we're catching these problems, we're catching this hell, just remember, Yahweh Shema Shai is there for our benefit. All right? Everything is through the Spirit. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's all for our benefit, and we got to believe that. That's got to be a staple in our mind. It's that mindset. If you're going through it, you can get through it. Okay? So with that, I pray this is edifying to the elect body of the nation Israel. I like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and others of Great Millstone rule well. Kwam Yasharallah, Shalom.